Hello.
Hello. Hello.
How are you?
Baruch Hashem. Yeah, I guess he'll come on soon. I guess, you heard the president tonight?
Huh?
Did you hear the president tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You didn't?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I liked the way he spoke. You know, he's
He's pretty good. I mean, he's a good speech writer. He's a
no,
good speech.
but he didn't act like he's
No,
like an altecacker.
Yeah. He did pretty good, but not the Republicans don't ever agree. Not everything is said is true, but
Well, does anybody say that?
Hello.
yeah.
Hey, Alan.
Hello there. Hello. Good evening. Good evening. So the president has 15 minutes of fame tonight, right?
Oh, I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. If he can be president, you and I can be president.
I guess so.
How's the mishpacha?
Wonderful. Baruch Hashem. Yours? Are you traveling these days?
I was in Montana twice last month, so
Oh,
I'm going to
good
San
for you.
Francisco for a bat mitzvah this Shabbos.
Oh, wonderful. That's wonderful. Good for you.
Yeah, should be nice to see my parents. Be
They
nice.
they live in San Francisco?
They live in San Francisco half of the year and La Quinta out in the desert half of the year.
Oh,
So they're in La
wonderful.
Quinta, but they're flying back to San Francisco too.
Did they live in the Jewish sector? There's still the shul there, an Orthodox shul in the like on 27th or something?
Yeah. There's a bunch. Actually maybe 4 or 5 Orthodox shuls, maybe 6.
Really?
But everybody just barely gets a minyan on a good day. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So as opposed to it being one big shul, it's all,
Yeah.
there's Anshe Sfard, there's Chevra Tehillim or Chevra, whatever it's called. And
Did you know
Young
the
Israel, there's Chabad.
Did you know the Langer family? They lived.
Of course I do. Sure.
Yeah. Moshe Langer, Zmira Langer, they were really dear friends of ours.
Yeah, they're nice
the
people.
The kids, they're not living anymore, but their kids are Larry and Larry and what's his name, the other brother, and then the sister. Yeah. The older, yeah.
Okay, Tesvav, Almad Aleph, 15.
Okay.
Shiny Hachadam Rachmana V'Timei Rosh Nizro. Mish Nizro Tarlo Barosho is a special Gzeris Hakosu that even after day 30, after they've counted the full 30 days, as long as his hair is on his head, he's still going to get Malchus if he exposes himself to Tumah. Meisvei, so we ask a kasha. Nazir shekololo yom. A nazir that has counted the 30 days. Asur legaleach. Now, until he brings his korbanos, he cannot take a haircut. He cannot lishtos yayin. Now, previously, Rav Yossi, Rav Chanina wanted to say that you only get malchus for tumas meis. Yesterday we learned, but you don't get malchus if you cut your hair or drink wine before korbanos. Here the Baraisa says clearly, the in Gileah, if you take a haircut, the shasa yayin, and you drink wine, but the time of the mason, is this so big as our boy? You do get malchus. Tiyufta, and that's the Rambam Paskins that way, that if you do any of those acts, take a haircut,
Or a korban.
before the korbanos, you get malchus. The
And the
full
korban, is the korban the next day or that evening?
day 31. Day 31. You have to bring chatas oil and shlam.
But you have to wait. You can't do it at night.
No, there's no korbanos at night.
Okay.
No, you never do shchita at night. Shchita of a korban, you can leave the limbs on the mizbech burning. The evorim upedorim can be burnt at night.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that can be done
Okay.
at night, korbanos wise. That's my riv, right? Tefillah Shachris is for the oilas aboiker. Tefillah Mincha is for the oilas ben arbayim. That's it. My riv is a reshus. My riv, we daven my riv at night because we had you. If you had a vorim or pedorim to burn, you could burn them at night. And that's why Mariv is a reshus. It's not a choiva. And we've taken it on as a choiva. But remember, if we learn in brachas, Mariv has a different status than Shachris and Mincha, and it relates to this, to korbanos and not being able to offer korbanos at nighttime.
Thank you.
Mishnah. Hareni Nazir l'chashieli ben. He makes 2 statements. I want to become a Nazir if I have a child. And the Nazir and I want to start 100-day Nazirus today. And he starts counting. He has and noiled lo ben. Now, in the middle of this 100-day Nazirus, he has a son. Now, ad shivim, if he has the son between day 1 and day 70, lo yifsid klum. So you set aside, you put on hold the 100-day count. You now count the new 30-day Nazirs, because that's the first neder you took. That was the first Kabbalah Naziris. The accepting Naziris for your son your statement preceded your statement of 100-day Naziris. So you stop, hold a 30-day Naziris, take a haircut, and now you restart because you have 30 plus days. Because that's why the Mishnah says ad shivim. For example, let's say it was born on the 50th day or the 60th day. So you can have 50 or 40 days left after you take your haircut. That's as long as you have 30-day hair growth, that allows you to do a tiglachas and bring your korbanos. Now, if it's less than 70, la'achar shivim, soiser shivim, then he loses out. For example, if his child is born on the 80th day, well, because he took his Naziris for his son first, the 80 days go away. Why
Can't we just let him finish
Yes,
that 100?
no, we don't let him finish because the Naziris has to start because he took the Naziris first. That was the first statement. He said, Hareini Nazir l'Rashieli Ben and Nazir Mea Yom. So that takes Kadima. So now he does the 30 days. Now there's only 20 days left. That's worthless. So he has to start from the beginning from day 1 and count 100. That's what this Mishnah is teaching us. Now, it's going to get a little technical here. Amarav Yom Shivim Oil Lakan Lakan. If the birth happens on the 70th day itself, so that's like it counts as it can count as the Tchilas Naziris for his son, and the end of the 70 days for his personal Naziris. The 30 for his son starts on that day. And when he comes to finish the 100, he only has to count 29 because it's considered like that one day counts. So we'll ask a kasha on that. It's not. Our Mishnah, Noidelo ad shivim, which implies not shivim, up until shivim, lo yafsid klum. Now the Isak and the Isak daitich sho'ol lakan lakan. It's not just he didn't lose the first; he's gari misker. He benefits a day. On the other side, ela bedinu delolisni ad shivim. Because really, the 70th day he gets to count both. The only reason it's mentioned that Mishum Diktani Sefer Achar Shivim Soiser Shivim, since if the birth occurs after 70, the Mishnah wanted to tell us it wipes everything away. Tani Reisha Shivim, but not to be medaik the way we're to reject what Rav was learning. Toshma Mi Sefer. Noilad Achar Shivim, let's say it was born on the 80th, we say Soiser Shivim. It wipes out the first 70 days of the 100-day count. Now, but if the 70 is oilalo, so he has 30 days left. Why should it be soiser? So the Gemara answers, my achar means not the 70, the 71st or the 72nd, which is within, the 30, which is not going to allow him to have at least 29 days. So aval achar mamish mai. So what are you going to tell me? 71 day achanami do loisaser? Then it doesn't break the original. Yachi mai ir de tani nolad ad shivim loisi klum. And why did the Mishnah say nolad ad shivim? He doesn't lose. Afilo achar shivim nami ha'amrit loisaser. it should go up to 71. El Shmamina, Achar Mamish. It means even day 71 would our Mishnah is Kasha and Rav. So our Tana is not like Rav, that the 70 goes for both days. So therefore, if our Tana is not like Rav, who is Rav going like? Which Tana is Rav following? V'Rav Keman Amra L'Shmaitza. Maybe Ilema Ka'abasho. Now we're going to bring Rayas from the Dinim of Avelis, from Moed Cotton. This not. Hakoiveris Meso Shloisha Yomim Kodim L'Regel. Person sits Shiva for 3 days before Yontif. Batla Mimenu Gzeres Shiva. There is no Avelis of Shiva. As long as he did 3. Now we know the din is, the psak din is, even if you sat for 1 hour before Yontif, it wipes away Shiva. But this was the opinion of in Moed Cotton, that if you sat for 3 days, if you only sat for 2 days, according to this opinion, you would still need to have Shiva after Yontif. Now, if you buried your mace Shmona Yomim Kodim L'Regel, right? The Shulchan Aruch, Orach Chaim Tav Kuf Mem Ches, and in the Rambam Hilchas Avelis says a koiveris meisoi for oifen shechala alav Avelis v'nog b'avel afilu sha'achas kodem haregel batlo b'menu Avelis shiva menu nag ba'oi. It's considered if you did shiva yimei Avelis. And then those 7 days, as even if you sat for 1 hour, you count 7 and the days of the Yontif, and that eats into the Shloshim. But if you didn't sit Avelis prior to the Yontif, then the regel is not Mavatal the Avelis. And it's as if you buried your mace within Yontif. I buried my mother in the middle of Sukkot, and the Shiva started after Simchas Torah. You get Simchas Torah, since it's only a Yontif Midrabanan b'chutz la'aretz. That day counts, even though you hold Simchas Torah, you only have 6 days of Shiva after. But other Yomim Tovim would the same thing. The 8th day of Pesach would be considered the same thing. Shmona Yomim Kodim L'Regel, if you buried your mace 8 days before Yontif, Batla Mimenu Gzeres Shloshim. Then you have 7, and then the 1 day is considered 7, and then the 7 of Yontif, you'd have much less Shloshim. Umuter l'saper erev haregel. You can take a haircut erev Yontif. And v'lo siper erev haregel also l'saper achar. You don't take a haircut, but erev Yontif, you're stuck. You can't take one afterwards. Now, Abashol Oimer, afilu lo siper kodem haregel muter l'saper achar regel. Even if you didn't take a haircut before Yontif, you can take a haircut after Yontif. Shekeshem shemitzvah shloisha mivatelas gzeres shiva. Just like the 3 days of Aveil is part of Yontif, you don't have to keep any more shiva. Kach mitzvah shiva mivatelas gzeres shloisha. The shiva that you were noig Aveilus on the 7th day is mevatel gzeres shloishim. Now, my time davar shol lav mishum de kasavar shvi oil lakan lakan. It Abishol seems to be holding that the 7th day of Aveilus counts both for the last day of Shiva and the beginning of Shloshim, which is similar to Rav, that the 70th day is lakan lakan. So perhaps Rav is holding like Abishol. No, the Gemara says, "Dilma adkam lakan Abishol ela b'Aveilus shivid rabbanon." you know what? Avelis of Shiva is not Doraisa. It's only Midrabana. So there you can be Mekel. Aval ben Nozer Doraisa. But Nozer, which is a Doraisa, he doesn't allow you to count the 70th day for both the first Nazirus and the second Nazirus. So again, our question is, which Tana is Rav going like? Ela Rav Damak Rab Yosi. A different sugya. The sugya of Nida, the Tanya. Rab Yosi Oimer. Shomeres Yom Keneged Yom. So let's go back to our Masechta Nida. Mina Torah, a woman has 7 days of Nidus, followed by 11 days of what's called Zivus. So if she sees blood during the 7 days of Yemei Nidus, so she's Tomei a minimum of she's basically going to be Tomei all 7 days. As long as there's a Hefsik Tahara, she doesn't see any blood going into the night of the 7th, she can go in the mikvah and be permitted to her husband. Now, we don't have that din because we are concerned that anytime a woman sees blood, it could be the 3rd day of her zivus bleeding, which then you have to count Zayin Nikiyim. But that's not according to the Torah law. So according to Torah law, that's what the status is during the Zayin Yemei Nidus. Then you have 11 days of zivus bleeding. So if she bleeds during that 11-day period, if she bleeds for 3 days in a row, she becomes a Zava Gedola. She has to count 7 clean days, and she has to bring korbanos on the 8th day. But if she bled only 1 day, and the next day she's clean, she's called a Shomeres Yom Keneged Yom. She keeps 1 clean day for the unclean day that she had, and she can go to the mikveh that night and have relations with her husband. So, Rav Yosi says, a Shomeres Yom Keneged Yom. So she's keeping the day after she saw blood, b'tahara. Sheshachtu v'zorku alea b'sheni shalom. So this day happens to be the 14th day of Nisan, when the Korban Pesach is shechted. So she joined the Chabura, and she saw blood on the 13th. And now on the 14th, she's keeping clean. Shomeres Yom Keneged Yom. And at 2 in the afternoon, she's still clean. She's part of a Chabur that they shecht and they do Zrikas Adam. Now at 4 in the afternoon, Achakach Rosa, she then sees blood. Now she's Tomei. This is now going to be this, she's not a Zava Gedola yet, where she brings korbanos. She could still, so she's now a Zav of 2 Re'iyas. She's certainly Tomei and cannot eat that night because she's in a state of Torezu Eina Ocheles. But Ptura Malas is Pesach Sheni. She doesn't have to do Pesach Sheni because the Shechita and the Zrika for the Korban Pesach was done for her when she was in a state of Tahara. Even though later on she became Tomei, she can't eat from it, but she was Makayim, the mitzvah HaKrova. Now, my time of Rav Yosi, what's the reason of Rav Yosi? Lav mishum de kasavar, miktas hayom kekulo. That part of the day is like the whole day. So, since she was Torah for part of the day, it's considered like she was Torah the whole day. The Gemara says, no, me mine. That's not the reason. Okay, Susie, can you get the door, please? Thank you. Mimai, that's not the svara. And that might be a support to Rav, that the reason why he says Oila Lakan day 70, because Miktzas Hayom Kekulo. Maybe Rabbi Yosi Dilma Mishum de Kasovar Mikanu Lahabahu Mitame. That when she became Tomei on that second day, the tumah only starts from when she saw blood, and she's not tummy from before. So therefore, when they shechted the korban Pesach, and she was part of that chabura, she was Torah then. And that's the svor of Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi hachi. Rabbi Yossi does not learn that tumas zivas mikanu lahaba, and that the reason that she's potter is for that reason. Because Vatanya, Rabbi Yossi Oimer, Zav Bal Shtei Re'iyos, a male who had two seminal missions on the same day, and he becomes Tameh. And he even has to have Zayin Nikiyim. He has to count 7 days, but no korbanos. And Sheshachtu V'Zorku Alav. This was a case. On the 14th, the man saw two seminal missions. But he hadn't seen the third yet. And he was in the clean, the only difference between a zav of 2 days and a zav of 3 days is bringing a korban. You have to count 7 and bring the korban on the 8th day. But a male who saw ziv was 2 days, you still have to count 7 clean days, no korban. And both a Shomeres Yom doesn't bring a korban, and he's like the same thing. And this is now his 7th day. So he counted 7 clean days. This is now his 7th day. All he has to do is go to tonight, and then he's finished his count, and he's done, basically. And if it was the 14th day of Pesach, he'd be done. He could eat from the Korban Pesach that night. So what they did, they shechted at 4 o'clock in the afternoon for him. He was tahor, right? He's not completely tahor yet, but he's part of the Zayin Nikiyim. And he was part of the chabur where they shechted the Korban Pesach. Or the Chen Shomer Yom Keneged Yom, like we said, the female who's counting her 2nd clean day, sheshachtu v'zorku aleh. And now at 5 in the afternoon, either the Zav saw his 3rd, saw again, it's not the 3rd, this is bleeding on the 7th day, so he ruins his Zayin Nikiyim. So, even though whatever they sat on, if they sat on a chair, they go backwards to when the last time they had gone to the mikveh. They don't have to do Pesach Sheni because the shchit and the zrika was done when they were clean. Well, this is a raya that Rav Yossi holds that the tumah goes backwards, not mikanu lahaba. So the Gemara says, "My lemafreyat midrabanan." The fact that it is tumah going backwards is only midrabanan, but midin Torah, the tumah only goes from mikanu lahaba, and that's the reasoning of Rabbi Yossi. Al-Chanami mistavra, and that makes logical sense. If tumah goes backwards midaraisa, my tumah lasas pesach sheni, then it comes out that retroactively he was completely tamei midaraisa, and the fact that they shechted and did the zrika sadam for him, he was completely tamei. Why would it be patr melasas pesach sheni? Must be loy melachatuma daraisa toim deziva yitir. That this tumah going backwards is considered like a hidden tumah, and they were materin by Pesach because tumah that is unknown, which is called tumah satahoim, is permitted for the shchitas of the Korban Pesach. So the same thing by tumah zav, it's considered like a tumah satahoim. For that reason, they don't have to bring Pesach Sheni. Let's finish because some of the Tzorba people, we have 2 more minutes. Let's finish the daf. Rabbi Shai also holds that when a zav becomes tamei, the Tuma goes backwards, but that's only Rabbana, the Tanya. Rabbi Shaya Omer, Avala Roya Zav B'Shvi Shelo. A person who saw blood on the seventh day of his Zaynakiyim, so it wipes away. It wipes away the 7 days count that he had. He has to start a new 7 clean days. Rav Yochanan argues, no, it should only ruin that last day, and maybe he only has to count 1 clean day. Manavsha, the Gemara doesn't understand. Isasser, if the bleeding breaks it, kulu sasser, it should break all of it. Ilo sasser, lo nisra v'lo yomo. If it's not soiser, then it shouldn't soiser anything. Elaema lo nisra v'lo yomo. You have to say, Rabbi Yochanan, that it's considered like the first re'iyah of another zov, and that's it. If he sees a second, he'll be ruined. But if he sees 1, he's not ruined. We'll finish the parak tomorrow.
Tomorrow we'll learn 8 o'clock. Tomorrow, you want me to sign up?